Welcome to the first 9:30 service of the church year. It's appropriately uninhabited so far. Anyway, we're going to start with a hymn sing, and we're going to start with a piece that's not in the hymnal, but the words are "love is." That's the words. Love is love is love is love. Love is love is love is love. So, and it starts out actually with a mantra that you can stick with or move on to other parts. That goes, love, 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 all you need is love, love, love. Kind of like the Beatles, but not quite. Let's see, love is all. Oh, okay. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Same thing again. All you need is love, love, love. All you need is love. And here's your first choice of a second thing. Love is love is love is love. Love is love is love is love. Oh, love is love is love is love. Love is love is love is love. Love, love, love. All we need is love, love, love. All we need is love is love is love is love. Love is love is love is love. Oh, love is love is love is love. 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 Oh, love is love is love is love. Love is love is love is love. Love, love, love. All we need is 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 love. Yeah. Let's stay in that mood. Let's do meditation on So we're going to do the meditation on breathing. Again, you don't really need, it's just when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. But it just starts with, we're going to do a little different today, which is actually the way it's supposed to be done. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Same thing. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe.
Good morning and welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. And obviously I am not Kevin Bastian nor Michelle Aitano. They're listed in your order of service. They're at home keeping us from getting COVID. Their son tested positive yesterday, and so I'm here in their place. And I'm a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and call your attention to the special note for you, welcome guests and newcomers, on the back side of the order of service. I would also like to welcome those of you attending online. Lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on the screen, and a complete order of service, including this week's announcements, is available via the link in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. Our in-person Sunday social is held immediately following the services, and I would urge you to attend. We're having our Connections Fair this morning, and you can see all the different ministries we have in the church. Please, if you would, turn off or silence any cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. And now we're going to have a share the plate from Ruth Gibson about the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee.
Good morning. I'm Ruth Gibson. I'm a member of the Side with Love ministry team sponsoring this Share the Plate. And every month I represent our Immigrant Justice Initiative in meeting with the UU Service Committee staff person at a meeting that they hold for congregations like ours who accompany asylum seekers. And this work makes me really glad to be a member of our congregation and also very grateful for our Unitarian Universalist faith. Because the Unitarian Service Committee has been doing this life-saving work ever since 1940, when they organized to rescue Jewish refugees from the Nazis. After the war, the Service Committee provided relief at home to Native Americans and migrant workers, as well as to refugees in Europe. Since then, the Unitarian Service Committee has been working for justice at home and all around the world. In Central America, several decades ago, they learned that conventional development projects were very easily destroyed by state-sponsored violence, and so the work you put into it didn't last. So they began to focus on creating systemic change through sustained relationships with partners on the ground. Because the UU Service Committee works directly and collaboratively with partners, funds can go directly to where they're most needed, when they're most needed. And in the past, funds have supported fair elections, mitigating climate destruction, halting human trafficking, advocating for fair wages, assisting transgender persons with relocation, and providing training for activists at their College for Social Justice, and so much more. For all of these reasons, and so many more reasons, I invite your generosity when the basket comes by. If you're writing a check, please add STP UUSC to the memo line, or you can use the QR code on the order of service. And please visit their website, uusc.org, or the Side with Love table at the Connections Fair today to learn more about their work and how you can participate in it. You'll be even more glad to be a Unitarian Universalist than you already are.
Thanks, Ruth. Now, if you would, please stand in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 162 in the gray hymnal, Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield.
Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, so we war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, so we want no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. No more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna shake hands around the world, everywhere I roam, everywhere I roam, everywhere I roam. Gonna shake hands around the world, everywhere I roam. Gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. No more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study
There's a lot happening today as we return to two services. We have the Connections Fair between and after the services. A lot is going on. But I want to announce something that is very, very exciting, which is that we have an intern minister joining us for this church year. And I get to welcome Kaylee Grogan to our congregation. Kaylee is a graduate of Harvard Divinity School, a lifelong UU from Bangor, Maine, and will be with us 10 months doing all of the fabulous intern things with our congregation. So I want you to give a great big welcome to Kaylee Grogan.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. It has been a delight to meet some of you already, and I look forward to getting to know you very soon. Here we are, together in this place, creating this sacred hour, each with our own fears and concerns, our own problems and stressors, each with our own tender hopes and desires. In bringing ourselves to this space, we remind one another that no matter who we are or what we bring, our lives are intertwined. In this time, may we feel strengthened by our connection to one another. May we feel called in the direction of mutual care and understanding. May we open ourselves up to the possibility of transformation that knowing one another brings. Come, let us worship together.
You will find the words, excuse me, you'll find the words for our chalice lighting in your order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. Many prefer a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice.
Since we'll be singing both of these pieces in Ukrainian today, I wanted to give you a translation of both of them. This is for the prayer for Ukraine. Lord, O the great and almighty, protect our beloved Ukraine. Bless her with freedom and light of your holy rays. With learning and knowledge, enlighten us, your children small. In love, pure and everlasting, let us, O Lord, grow. We pray, O Lord Almighty, protect our beloved Ukraine. Grant our people and country all your kindness and grace. Bless us with freedom. Bless us with wisdom. Guide us into a kind world. Bless us, O Lord, with good fortune forever and evermore. And the second piece, the words are, peace now.
Each week we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this community. It's during this time that if you've come this morning with either a very significant personal joy or sorrow, that you're invited to come forward down the sides of the aisles, place a stone in the bowl, say your name, and briefly in a sentence or two, share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust.
That's a stone of pure joy. Avi Kanwar Sokolar was born on August 25th to my daughter Yvonne and her husband Varun. I worry a little bit about what this world is going to look like when he's my age, but he is off to a fantastic start in life.
Hi, I'm Leanne King. I have a joy. 2 weeks ago, I turned 50, and I decided that to start the next half of my life, I would kind of mirror the hours leading up to my birth, and I spent it alone in a warm, wet place at the beach. No screens, total reflection. I did a 10-mile bike ride and fell fast asleep at 9 o'clock, and I'm really looking forward to the next half of my life.
Good morning, my name's Amy Maddox. This is a stone of joy and concern because I spent some of yesterday in the booth of the Democratic Party at the Mountain State Fair in Fletcher, North Carolina, because my husband is running in the Democratic primaries to run against Chuck Edwards to represent the 11th District of North Carolina in the U.S. House of Representatives.
We are Susan and Alan Spalt, and we are dropping a stone for Barbara Rodbell, who many of you remember. She turned 100 last week. If ever we needed someone to inspire us to get through these times, her sister was a friend of Anne Frank. She escaped the Nazis in Amsterdam, eventually came to the United States, worked for the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus as a ballet dancer on elephants, and fought for and stood for freedom and courage for her entire life, which is still going on, I am happy to say. She's in Maryland with her family. Thank you.
I knew all of that except for the ballet dancing on elephants. How did I not know that? Happy birthday to Barbara Rodbell. The final stone is placed for all of the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not spoken this morning. Won't you join with me in a time of meditation and prayer? We give thanks for long lives well lived, for the courage to meet the years, for new life coming into this world, a sign of hope. And we give thanks for all of those days, moments, the moments of our lives. Remind us this morning of our care for one another, our commitment to community, our love of this world. Help us to remember our own ability to make some change in the world, however small. In the midst of gratitude and heartbreak, joys and sorrows, love and loss, let us hold a few moments of silence together as we connect with the prayers of our own hearts. I invite you to be still with me for a few moments. Amen. Our next hymn this morning is number 388 in the gray hymnal. It is Dona Nobis Pacem, and I invite you to sing.
We'll sing all three parts together in unison, and then we'll go to a two-part round.
Y'all don't know how lovely y'all sound. Thank you. This morning's reading comes from the American poet and pacifist William Stafford. Stafford was born in 1914 as a conscientious objector, spent 4 years in a government work camp for conscientious objectors during World War II. Stafford's first book of poetry was published at the age of 48. In 1970, Stafford was named Poet Laureate of the United States. This morning's reading, his poem, The Unnational Monument Along the Canadian Border. This is the field where the battle did not happen, where the unknown soldier did not die. This is the field where grass joined hands, where no monument stands, and the only heroic thing is the sky. Birds fly here without any sound, unfolding their wings across the open. No people killed or were killed on this ground hallowed by neglect, and an air so tame that people celebrate it by forgetting its name. Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, there's a QR code on the back of the order of service, and there's information on the church's website. Today, our generosity extends beyond our walls as we give to today's Share the Plate. Remember, you can donate online, or if you're writing a check, please write STP in the memo line.
Maybe it is a war that's raging somewhere in the world, in Gaza, in Ukraine, and it fills you with grief, with heart sickness, and you call out, "Let there be an end to the killing. Let the bombs and the bullets cease. May there be peace." Or maybe it's something a little different. Maybe there is a conflict, a tension in your neighborhood, in your community, in your workplace, and this conflict is draining. And you badly want for there to be some resolution. Let peace come. Or maybe it's in your family. Some families have tension. There's hostility. You want the fighting to stop. Let there be peace. Or maybe it's even inside of you. You feel restless. You long for peace of mind, an inner peace to quiet the raging and the roiling within. The theme we're going to be exploring together this church year is longing. Not every Sunday, not every sermon, but during this church year, we're going to be considering different facets of longing and considering the longing that we might experience in our own lives. We'll explore together our longings, whether for justice, for connection and relationship, meaning and purpose, as well as that longing for transcendence, for an encounter with the sacred. But this morning, we're going to consider one object of our longing, the longing for peace. This past week, I remembered that it's the 1-year anniversary of my mom's death last September. And I can't think about peace without also thinking about how I was raised on my mom's stories of peace marches in the 60s and 70s, and how I was also raised on peace music, Peace Train by Cat Stevens, Imagine by John Lennon. Some of us here probably remember those marches or those songs. I didn't fall far from the tree, at least going to peace marches. I listened to very different music, which isn't that peaceful actually, but longing for peace has led me to marches and rallies and vigils against the invasion of Iraq, to a demonstration outside of the NRA headquarters calling for a ban of assault rifles, to the streets of Chapel Hill calling for an end to police brutality. How many of us have ever marched for peace, or stood for peace, or witnessed for peace, or knelt for peace, or sung for peace, or prayed for peace? The longing for peace is actually a part of our religious tradition. I recall how Henry David Thoreau went on a tax strike and spent a night in a Concord jail in protest of the Mexican-American War. How Julia Ward Howe actually invented the concept of Mother's Day, calling it Mother's Peace Day. Our hymnal has both a whole selection of hymns about peace as well as numerous readings. I always like to mention that it's an interesting fact that both our gray hymnal and the hymnal that preceded it, published in 1964, contain the Charter of the United Nations as a reading for worship. And if you don't feel like listening to my sermon and you would prefer to read the Charter of the United Nations instead, it's number 475 in the gray hymnal. Okay, you all haven't gone for your hymnals right away. Good. We may be the only religious tradition to consider the Charter of the United Nations to be a holy text, but we have no monopoly on the dream of peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Jesus of Nazareth. And the prophet Isaiah prophesies that the Messiah will usher in an age of peace where the lion shall lay down with the lamb. Not only will there be peace on earth, but there will also be veganism for all of the creatures. One of the things, though, in our longing for peace that we must be careful about and guard against is confusing peace for calmness. There's a famous line from the book of Jeremiah, the prophet, not the bullfrog. Some moans as well as a few chuckles. But the prophet Jeremiah says, "They have treated the wound of my people carelessly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace." And what this line means is that it's not enough just to be still, that we actually need to correct the wrongs in the world. Peace is less about outward conduct than it is about a deeper sense of justice. Martin Luther King Jr. said the same thing, saying that there is a difference between a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, and a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. My favorite thing that Dr. King said about peace was what he said in a sermon in 1956 called "When Peace Becomes Obnoxious." When peace becomes obnoxious. To set the scene, the context for this sermon, in 1956, a federal judge ruled that the University of Alabama could not reject students on the basis of race, and the first black student, a woman named Autherine Lucy, enrolled. When she came onto the campus rioted. Students burned crosses, threw eggs and bricks at her. The mob actually jumped on the roof of the car in which she was traveling. And finally, the administration of the school asked Autherine Lucy to leave for her own safety. A few days later, a local paper ran the headline, "Things are quiet in Tuscaloosa today. There is peace on the campus of the University of Alabama." And King said in his sermon, it was peace at a great price. It was peace that had been purchased at the exorbitant price of an inept board succumbing to the whims and caprices of a vicious mob. It was a peace that had been purchased at the price of allowing mobocracy to reign supreme over democracy. It was the peace that had been purchased at the price of the capitulating to the forces of darkness. This is the type of peace that all people of goodwill hate. It is the type of peace that is obnoxious. It is the type of peace that stinks in the nostrils of the Almighty God. King calls it negative peace. We might also call it passive peace. We would do well to remember that while we often think of violence as active, that violence can be passive as well. Poverty is a form of violence. Lack of access to health care is a form of violence. Mass incarceration is a form of violence. Banning abortion is a form of violence. We call someone who shoots another person a violent person. But we don't use that term for the chemical company that poisons the water and leads to a spike in cancer deaths. That too is violence. Peace is not the same thing as calmness. I want to turn to consider a different sort of peace. Peace within, maybe call it peace of mind, inner peace. How is it that we find peace within ourselves? And I wonder, this is not asking for a show of hands, but I wonder how many of us feel that we lack a certain sense of inner peace right now. living with the anxieties and tensions and worries and fears. This is a struggle and a tension as well. On one hand, given the state of the world, is inner peace even possible or desirable? And at the same time, living in a perpetual state of anxiety and worry is really no way to live. Of course, the answer is not one or the other. It is to manage to have both, to find peace as well as restlessness and allow them to live together. Longing for peace can lead to escapism, to tuning out the world, to being the proverbial ostrich who buries its head in the sand. And there's a degree to which we need to do this from time to time. Turn off the television, get off the social media. There are times when we need to disengage for a little while for our own health and well-being. But it's no permanent way to live. I suspect that it won't fulfill our longing for peace. My colleague in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Reverend Marlon Lavenhar, preached recently a sermon called Finding Inner Peace. It was a sermon about how to stay engaged, but also live with a sense of peace and purpose. Towards the end of his sermon, Marlon lifted up two qualities that he observed were present in people who had a sense of inner peace. The first quality, he said, is that people who have a sense of inner peace largely operate within their sphere of influence. This actually comes from Stephen Covey, and Marlon's a huge Stephen Covey fan. I actually once had him come preach, and he gave a sermon about Stephen Covey, and I was like, I wanted to hear a different sermon. But Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, right? What Marlon's saying is that, and what Stephen Covey is saying is that we think of the world as having 3 spheres. There's a sphere of control, what it is that we're able to control. There's a sphere of concern, which is much bigger, which is all of the things in the world that break our heart. And then there is, in the middle, the sphere of influence, the things that we can work on, the differences that we can make. And Marlon argues that we become most peaceful when we are working within that sphere of influence. But he also says this, paradoxically, that he observes that people who have a sense of inner peace are also people who find hope in doing what they believe is right, even when they are not sure that their efforts will make any difference at all. That people who have a sense of inner peace are people who find hope in doing what they believe is right, even when they are not sure that their efforts will make a difference. May we not confuse calmness for peace. May we not confuse a lack of tension for the presence of justice. And may we, day after day, through the years of our lives, do what we believe is right, even if we aren't sure that it makes a difference. Amen. Thank you. Blessed be, and great to see all of you at 9:30 on a Sunday. Our closing hymn this morning is a fun one to sing. It's Harry Belafonte, Turn the World Around, 1074 in the Teal Hymnal, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and sing out.
There's a lot going on in this one, so just pay attention. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water. Third verse. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Ah, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so. The top line. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See, we one another clearly. Do we know who? Something, go to the second line. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See, we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? See, we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Whoa, so is life a patiwa. So is life. Whoa, so is life a patiwa. Three times. Water makes the river, river washes the mountain, fire makes the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only in the spirit, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life a patiwa. Ha! So is life. Whoa, so is life a patiwa. Ha! So, one more time. Whoa, so is life a patiwa. Ha! So is life. Whoa, so is life a patiwa. Ha! So is life.
The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And let's take a moment to acknowledge and thank all those who contributed to making the service work. Please join us in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service, and as you're comfortable, please either hold hands with the person next to you or cross your arms over your heart.